Okay, I know I'm getting ready to launch into a whole series of aesthetic videos, but first, I feel a need to put up a video for storytellers. Functionally, it's about the art of preparation and how to enrich the game for your players, because that is functionally your job. You know, your job is to make the game as fun as possible for the most amount of players. Okay, first off, make sure you have your reference books either with you or available. At this point, the Kindles are beautiful things because you can download most of the books onto them, and then you have them at the touch of your finger at that point. In the end, you can't remember all the rules. Your narrators won't remember all the rules. Players on players won't remember all the rules. You need to have something there so you can make a proper ruling. If you don't, if you start making bad rulings, ones that the players can find flaws in, which they'll do it because players are brilliant when it comes to finding the flaws, finding the loopholes. That's what they do. Okay, you have to remember that. Excuse me. So you should have at the bare minimum laws of the wild. That's the bare minimum. You should also probably have any tribe books that you think might be appropriate available to you. Access Mundi is always a beautiful one. For the live action portion, Dark Epics is something that you want to have somewhere nearby. You especially want that when you're doing your downtimes. It's essential for most people. Okay. Also, character sheets. You want to make sure that the PCs, or the players, have their PC character sheets with them, or at least have them available to them. Don't rely on the players to bring them, because if you do, inevitably somebody will forget it, or you're going to start getting sheets that don't look like they're supposed to. There's always going to be those players who are going to add a little something on there. And then they're going to, oh, I forgot to tell you, that email must have got lost, whatever it might be. But you want to make sure you have your master copies, whether that's in a folder somewhere, on a PDF, you name it, you need to have access to it. It makes gameplay, flow smoother. Your narrator should always be able to ask to check a sheet, and so on. Always have your writing utensils nearby. You always want to have a pen or a few pens with you because players are going to borrow them, steal them, whatever it may be. But you're going to need to have something to mark stuff down on or down with. Any additional items that you might need, you're going to have with you as well. In our game, we use these little glass beads to represent your rage, your notes, and your willpower, all your tempers. Therefore, we can keep track of exactly where their temporary is sitting. Because how many times a game do you have to make a check to see what's your rage versus your willpower right now? Okay, that's going to be the basis for when we do this rage check we're about to do. Always have some extras, because rage. How many people are going to, oh, I took the first damage, give me a rage. Give me a rage. Or if somebody's just pissing somebody off. Storyteller, there is nothing worse than when you're walking past somebody and just hand them a rage. They know they're getting pissed off. And you're going to want to have extra willpower, extra gnosis. You always want to have a few on you, because inevitably, if you don't, the players are going to need them. And if the players need them and you don't have them, you go back to an honor system, which the larger your game, the more likely is you have some players that are not honorable. And if that's the case, you can't pick and choose who you trust and who you don't. You have to play it, one way or the other. Either you trust everybody or you trust no one. I'm a big believer in trusting no one in that regard. That's why we have physical representations for the tempers. Therefore, nobody can make a brain fart clusterfuck and screw up their tempers. Nobody can, nobody can really try to cheat, because it's all what you have on you, what we've taken from you or given you back. Item cards, or something to represent the items. They can be on the sheets, but if they're on the sheets, keep in mind people, trading them. There's nothing worse than, oh, I have a Gnostic bag. I give it to another Theurge. I don't cross it off my sheet. Next game, they've added a Gnostic bag to their sheet. Maybe it's been even approved by a narrator who saw it, but didn't actually check to see that mine was taken off. So there's 2 Gnostic bags in game. Sooner or later, the staff is going to go, what the hell just happened? And they're going to get pissed. And somebody's going to get accused of cheating, even if it's just a brain fart. We use item cards. Usually on index cards. I print them out. They have reference numbers. They have signature on them. We even have a stamp that we can put an ink stamp on them. And they tend to have a picture. I've got all of those recorded. We have a little box that we keep them in. At the end of the game, people turn them in. Okay. You're also going to want to have a copy of your house rules available no matter what. If there's any deviations from the books, you need a set of house rules. Excuse me. 99% of games are going to have house rules because there's always something in there they don't agree with or doesn't work for them, because that's what house rules are for. You're making the system work for your troop and your game. So you're going to want to have a copy there so you can hand it to players so they can see, so that your narrators can check stuff, so you can check stuff, and so you can back up your rulings. So people don't think you're just making it up on the fly to protect a favorite character or to take out a character that just happens to be annoying as fuck. Okay. Sometimes it's helpful to have copies of lists. When I say lists, all the gifts and the levels that you allow in game, all the rights and levels you allow in game. You might want to have something for all the applicable totems that are used. Any number of things that you want to have lists for. Like, I mean, hell, what is it? I think it's for gifts. There's a guy out there who actually put together a big, huge master list of all the gifts from all of the supplements that there ever were. Real good guy by the name of Chris Roberts. We used to deal with him when we were dealing with one of the orgs, until he parted way with the org, and then we followed suit soon after because that org was falling apart. But there's a number of lists you can find on Google, or if you find Established Chronicles, 9 times out of 10 they have lists, and if you're on good terms with the storyteller, they may be willing to part with the list so that you can adapt it to your chronicle. I mean, Lord knows our staff is usually willing to work with amicable staffs. So, other things you might want to have: props. Props are good things to have from the storytelling standpoint because it needles the imagination of the players. It really gives them very vivid images of what they're seeing and how the scene is unfolding in front of them. Some easy stuff you can make for it. Maps. Anybody who's played D&D knows how to make a map. Okay, even those, little pencil maps on graph paper are enough to stimulate a good chunk of the players, because hell, most of them have probably played D&D at some point, and it really is nostalgic for them. You can get even more fancified maps if you want to print them offline, whatever you want to do, but they help a lot, and the players love them. Sometimes you want to have some props that are going to represent some of the items rather than item cards. We actually usually have an item card that goes along with it. You have to have, you can use the prop, but you have the item card for the stats, so it can be checked. Be real careful with that. Weapons are not allowed at game. If you're going to have a prop weapon, it should be something that would ascribe to the boffer LARPs, so that there can be no accidents. You don't want no sharp ends, nothing like that, and nothing that can be mistaken by the general populace, because the last thing you need is a bunch of cops showing up, basically, because somebody reported a sword-wielding psycho was running around through the woods. But there's a number of things you can do. I mean, one of my Silent Striders has a messenger tube, okay, a fetish one. That would be real easy to make, okay. Elk tooth necklaces, we make those all the time. Truth earrings. I mean, there's any number of those things that you can make, and they work real well. You can also make, for lack of a better term, effigies, which would be portraits of villains or monsters or something to represent that or something going on in game. Maybe even like a little idol. Hell, you could have some friggin' fake coins from something to represent some Spanish bullion that they dug up or they found or something. That works a lot that works really well, especially when you're in the Umbra or in a dream sequence. All of these things will enrich the game for the players, and it does, it really strokes their imagination, and they tend to get more out of it, and they put more into it. And when they put more into it, it makes the scenes better for everyone. And you end up going from running a good storyline to running a great storyline, or from running a great storyline to running an epic storyline. Because a lot of people out there think they've run epic storylines. Once you truly run one, you know what an epic storyline is. Not many have run them, but they're out there. And from a storyteller standpoint, once you've run one, it's the best feeling in the world. And it's going to be something you're always going to have check marked in the back of your head. And it's going to be that level you're trying to rise to every time. I mean, we've got, in a few months, we've got our event game coming up. We're already in preparation mode for it. This is our 5th anniversary of it. Two of them have really hit epic levels. The other 2 were great, not epic. This time it's the 5th anniversary. I'm going to see if I can exceed epic. I need to figure out how to do that. And that's what I'm shooting for this time. But I'm getting off on a tangent. So, okay, that's pretty much what I wanted to cover. So, peace out, guys. I hope this is useful.